we forget the most important part of you? It's the most important, the most powerful, more powerful than all the gods that existed throughout all the centuries. If 1 billion Christians don't have mind, who is God? If millions of Hindus don't have mind, who is it that is showing devotion? You know, language is pathetic, but we have no choice. We have to use. Today I'm using the word observer. Sometimes, many times we use the word mind. Maybe science-inclined people might call it brain. In our mundane, sort of day-to-day life, we call it Jack or Jill or Wang or Deng or whatever. And then, of course, a really, really, really big label. I mean, amazing label called me, I. You have that, You don't need to download it somewhere. You have it. It's always there. It's the one that is doing the hearing, listening, cognizing. Let us again look at that, but try to look at it without any influence, without even my influence. Don't bring any ideas from the books you have read. Please, none of that. Religious beliefs, please, keep it aside. Scientific theories are as useless as religious beliefs. You don't need them. It's there with you. An observer. Can't you hear the raindrop now? Can't you hear the humming of the air conditioner? Even some sort of anxiety here. What's he talking about? Who is it that is thinking about? What is he talking about? Yeah, please, few moments again. And please, no need, no sitting straight or nothing. However you want. Sitting and all of this will happen later painfully, so don't worry about it right now. If there are parents here, I would suggest sometimes you ask your children this question: do you know you have mind? Just as you ask, your hands, your toes, whatever, do you have mind? Do you know you have something called mind? How can we forget the most important part of you? It's the most important, the most powerful, more powerful than all the gods that existed throughout all the centuries. If 1 billion Christians don't have mind, who is God? If millions of Hindus don't have mind, who is it that is showing devotion? Who is it that is scared of death? Who is it that is getting lonely, bored, sad, happy? Okay. Since this is important, we will do one more time. But one thing, as you look at the mind, I don't want you to find the mind. I don't want you to get an answer. I just want you to ask and observe. And I don't want you to name it. Name that can be given is not a name. Such a wonderful word, isn't it? From the first verses. Let's not call it anything. Just observe the observer for a few moments. This observer is not a theory, it's not a story, it's not a fiction. You hear, you feel, now. Yes, you cannot describe it, you cannot visualize it. And no need, you don't have to visualize and verbalize everything. Okay, one more information. I said you have something so powerful that is your ability to observe, constant cognizance, constantly knowing, constantly being conscious. But there's something incredible, really, really interesting. I hope you have noticed. Mind, this observer can observe itself. It doesn't need another observer to observe another mind, It just observes itself. This is, you can't find anywhere. This one, you have it. Actually, I can see you, but I cannot see your observer. Your secret of your mind is just only your mind knows. This is actually a really important aspect or element of a Buddhist study. It's called self-awareness. I just want to throw in the language just so that you get used to it if you want to study further. Okay, so this is why in many Buddhist writings we hear homage and veneration to the mind, saying that it is the most precious and most wish-fulfilling gem. Now, this mind that you have, you cannot not have it. Yeah, you can cut your hair, you can cut your nail, you can even chop your hand if you want. Mind? No. People try, like they drink a lot of whiskey. Actually, what they're really trying to do is put a pause button on the mind. That's what they're doing, really. You can sort of numb it for a while. You can distract it by watching some episodes, but you can never eject it, never. Right? Later, during the question and answer, if you want, we can talk about what happens to the Alzheimer people, people in coma, brain dead, vegetable people. It's a very easy subject, but I don't know whether we even want to go in there, because I think maybe we should just pay more attention to the, the vipassana. I don't know whether you even understand the, stake of this. The fact that you cannot delete the mind or do without, let's say for a day or an hour, this is actually a big issue. Sometimes I wish I'm table. Like now, the table is not jealous because I'm putting my things here. The table doesn't feel left out. Doesn't matter whether use or not use or whatever, table has nothing. Table doesn't get feel ignored if it's not used. Table doesn't feel disrespect it, if I put my butt on it, but mind is not that easy. It's so complicated. So these are the facts of the mind. You cannot do without. And as I was saying, this mind, okay, so we have a mind. We are stuck with the mind, actually. We are stuck. Many times we feel like we are stuck with the mind. If you know how to use the mind, as the Buddhist master said, mind is like a precious gem. But if you don't know how to use the mind, and then you are stuck with the mind, then you have angst. I think the German word is angst. I think a lot of people have that angst. I think this is why questions like, what's the purpose of my life? So then what do? We try to distract it, numb it, and we do it a lot. And we learn more ways to get distracted. It's called education. And then we get hooked by these distractions. And then you become dependent. Okay, so the worst news that happens to the mind is mind becomes dependent to something else. Now, all of you are control freak, for sure. You all want to control, not only definitely the whole world, you want to control everyone, right? We human beings do. But the controller, the real controller, the mind, we are not managing to control. So, as I said earlier, we lose objectivity. We have prejudice. We have a narrow mind. We have partial view, not bird's eye view of life. And this narrow angle, this prejudice mind is what the Buddhists call klesha. You know, in Buddhism, we don't have sin. Buddhists don't have sin. What Buddhists have is we have a klesha. Klesha is a prejudice mind, narrow mind, not open-minded, no bird's eye view, not objective, all subjective. That's what klesha is, right? So Buddhists believe in what we call klesha, defilement. It's called defilement. And based on that mind, we act and react. And this is called non-virtuous action. So, this is why real or the main goal of vipassana, according to Buddhism, is really to overcome these prejudices, these partial views. We need to overcome. We need to overcome these kind of subjective values. We need to see the truth. Okay, so that's sort of the general prologue or introduction to the vipassana. I'm sorry, it has been a bit too long. But before the break, we will initiate ourselves with sitting. Okay. I mean, we will just get used to what we call sitting. And in Japanese, I think they call it shikantaza, which means just sit. I think the word just is an incredibly profound, vast, and deep. So we will now do, let's say, 6 minutes of sitting. You can sit, the most important is sitting straight. That should be, that's like must almost. We will add more sort of details as the time goes by. But let's just begin by just sitting. and probably not look around, not pay attention to your, like, I don't know, like, probably, yeah, not like scratch or, yawn or cough, if you can. Okay, let's sit. let's take a break. 10 minutes, I think.